I wanted to dedicate this Torah for the neshama of my father, Shlomo Haim ben Dovid, Harini Kaporat Mishkavo, Ruach Hashem Tenichenu Began Eden. We know this week's Parasha Beshem Hashem Naaseh V'Natzliach is Genesis, Bereshit. Again, we start the Torah from the beginning. And we know the most famous stories of all stories. The beginning, what made it all happen. God creates the world in 6 days, and the 7th day He rests. But unfortunately, there was some really bad stuff going on the 6th day. When God created Adam and Chava, Adam and Eve, He also created the Satan, the Satan, the devil, the serpent. Today's lecture is, why did God create evil and why were we created? It doesn't take too much time from us mere mortals to succumb and fall trap to this evil devil, Satan. And he entices Eve, Chava, to eat from the forbidden fruit. God only gave us one commandment, not 10 commandments, not 613 commandments, and we weren't even able to keep that one. And guess what the woman does? She also gives to her husband to eat from the forbidden fruit, and they're banished from the Garden of Eden. The question is, why did God create the Satan? Wouldn't we be much better off without him? And second of all, what is his purpose? Why do we need this evil inclination? The only way we can answer this question is to ask the most fundamental question a person, any civilized person with a soul has to ask himself, and that is, why was I created altogether? Okay, God created this awesome sun and galaxies and the beautiful mountains and streams and oceans and the whales and everything in between. Why? What's the purpose of it? What does God want to gain from it? The Kabbalah, the Ramchal, the Zohar, the Arizal, they say that there's only one reason God created the world, ladies and gentlemen. And that is because He loves us. He has unlimited kindness. And it is the nature of somebody kind to bestow and shower His blessings upon a creation, right? If I'm the only person in this world, then if I can't do good to myself, there has to be A creator, B, a creation, for the creator to bestow his unlimited goodness and kindness upon that world. So that's the reason why God created the world, is to give us unlimited pleasure and blessing, because He's so kind. It's the nature of Him to share His kindness and shower it upon His Son, His world, His creation. So why do we need evil? Wouldn't this whole creation be much better where there's only goodness and light and no evil and pain and suffering and death and guilt and hell and enticement? The question is no. Because if you look in the Shav Shmaitza, based on the Zohar, based on the Ramchal and Derech Hashem, and that Tevunot, the Kabbalah answers that our soul is like an empty pit. Yes, our soul was created in the image of God, but it's synonymous, it feels like an empty pit before it comes down to battle evil in this world, because it's not deserving. It is the concept of Nahama de Kisufa, which means, imagine your entire life you did nothing and you got everything. You would feel ashamed. Just like it's the nature when somebody gives you a gift or somebody does you a favor, you want to give back the favor. You don't want to feel indebted. since we're in the image of God, we human beings would only fulfill our full potential and derive the greatest benefit if we deserve and we build our own Garden of Eden. If God hands everything to us on a silver platter and we do nothing, the soul is like an empty pit. But the Zohar says, when the soul comes down to this world and it fights with tooth and nail to be ethical and moral and godly and keep God's commandments and follow the light, not go after instant gratification and evil, then it becomes like an overflowing spring. And that's why, if you look at the Midrash says something unfathomable. On the sixth day, God saw that it was very, very good. Tov me'od. So the Midrash, the oral Torah, our tradition asks a question, what was very good? The Yetzer Hara, evil. Why? Because the whole reason God created the world is for us to deserve our reward. There can be no good if there is no evil. There can be no reward, right? It's only when you have two choices in front of you, fire, hell, death, darkness, the Satan, and good, and you grab the good, and you don't go after your heart's desires and foolishness, but you use your intellect and your godly soul and your neshama and your Yetzer HaTov to go after good. That's when the soul, after it goes through this test, it's going to be like an overflowing spring. It has something to brag about. It has something to be proud of, because the reward, which is its essence, is not given to it as a freebie. Imagine getting food stamps your entire life and Section 8 housing. Those people, they're not proud. They did nothing with their life. Because in the Zohar it says a poor person is like a dead person. Only a person that is proactive and has accomplished great accomplishments, that is the greatest source of happiness and content. So let's never forget, the Satan is very good. It's only because of him that we will be deserving of reward. And if you ask the Satan himself, deep down he wants you not to listen to him. He's only there to give you reward because he's also an angel of God. So let's never give up on the fight between good and evil. You may have lost the battle, but always keep your eyes on the ultimate goal, which is winning the war. And make no mistake, the war will ultimately be won, because God promises us, as we see so much Torah and light is in the world today. Only 70 years ago, the Holocaust destroyed almost all the yeshivas. Now we have thousands upon thousands of yeshivas and kollels. So ultimately, the war of good and evil, both on a micro and a macro level, will be won. And ultimately, the world, we will go back to the Garden of Eden, because mankind will realize in his conscience that it's the best move to do the right thing and listen to God, not go after instant gratification. And that is what Mashiach is. Please don't forget to subscribe and have a wonderful day.